Hey there, fellow adult collectors, welcome back. David Eon here with a bit of a treat for you, or a treat for me anyways, because I've gotten my hands on the cable from MEZCO's 1/12 Collective, and this is, of course, the PX Previews exclusive cable. Comes in the tin, and this version of cable, it says pose, play, and display. Pose and display maybe, I don't know about playing with them, they're kind of fragile. This is the X-Men version of cable, as you see here, because there is another version where he's kind of armored and looks more like a Rob Liefeld depiction. There's everything that should be in the tin, and this is supposed to be new, and I've already gone ahead and opened this because I had a little bit of trouble with the bag. The bag that this was sealed in was taped 10 ways from Sunday, and it kind of made me feel like this might not be brand new, but I've already gone ahead and looked in here. Usually I try to wait and do the unboxing as a first time seeing it basis, but I went and looked to make sure everything was kosher and everything looks good. Well, there's the 1/12 paper that you get that says basically this isn't actually a toy, so don't tear it apart, and a set of instructions for his light up feature. Cable's eye lights up, and he uses the same neck plug feature or function as the Cyclops does, which I just did a review of. I did the very last 1/12 Collective review I did was of Cyclops, and he had this same neck unit that screws out. So we'll be taking a look at that. And here we go. Cable in the box with all of his accessories. And this is a double tray. You see there's a finger bowl here for prying this out. Put this tin away before LPH tries to steal it from me. There's the under tray. Doesn't have much, just the stand and batteries and bag. And the figure and all the accessories are up here. And you can't really see him very well, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and take him out of the packaging and get a closer look at him, test his articulation and all of that good stuff. So let's do that right now. And we are back with Cable out of the box. 1/12 Collective Cable, wearing the classic 90s X-Man uniform. And of course, Cable is the son of Scott Summers and the clone of Jean Grey, evidently. He's got a cybernetic arm, prosthetic eye, which does light up, and I'll show you that here when we get to it. Let's take a good look at the figure really quickly. And of course, like I said, MEZCO made two cables. So there's another one that looks a little more like the traditional Rob Liefeld rendition of Cable. Has a lot of armor. I think they both retail for about the same amount. One of Cable's abilities is that he can pass for human, apparently. So he doesn't test as being a mutant. Let's take a look at his accessories. Down here we have a second head, and this is him basically gritting his teeth, which you see it's all black in there. That's because the light in his neck post should shine through and come out of his eye. And we'll test that here in a minute. A spear. sidearm. It's got a hole in the end, but there's no blast effects that came with this. You know, sometimes MEZCO, when you have a pistol, it gives you something that makes it look like a shooting effect that you can plug in, but this doesn't have it. He does have a holster for the sidearm on his leg though. 2 magazines, and these actually plug into the side of this exaggerated rifle. As you know, cables often drawn with these really ridiculously large guns, and that plugs right in there. What looks like a grenade launcher, and the cylinder does turn sort of like that. It doesn't really do much, and there's no like moving parts other than that. The arm, the 112 bag, batteries for his neck joint, the stand, and a series of hands. So you have like this, actually these two look like trigger finger hands. See, one cybernetic and one gloved hand. A lot of detail on these. Two gripping hands. Or holding hands, rather. And 2 reaching or clutching hands. So now we'll go ahead and take him off and test his articulation. And again, just like with the Cyclops, I noticed that the plug works a lot better on this one. Just putting it on the stand, something to note, that a lot of the MEZCO 112 figures, they don't plug into the stands well. The plug doesn't fit properly, or the ankle joint is so weak that they just topple right over. Those plugs often don't work, but the last couple of figures I've reviewed, newer figures, it's working better. And it's just something to consider. Head is really very loose. It's attached well, but it moves around fluidly. Shoulder articulation. Pretty basic. It's a double jointed elbow, but that's about as far as you're going to get. Good wrist movement. And we'll go ahead and we'll change a hand out here and see how well that works. Came right off. And we'll just put anything on there. I've also noticed that that's improved. These pegs, they're a little bigger than they used to be, and slipping the hands in and out has gotten a little easier. That used to be a huge problem with some of the older ones. Ab crunch, it's about as far as you're going to get. It's not very fluid. Side to side, it's not very fluid either. And it could be because of the straps and the vinyl coating on the outfit. Splits, good lord, cable. That's a good split for one of these figures, actually. Twist, not too much. And again, restricted by the vinyl. Backward and forward motion is pretty fluid. Double jointed knee, obstructed by the design of the boot. No turning in the boot. You do, of course, have the rotation in the hip, and I would watch out for splitting right there. Ankles are pretty tight, but I like that. It means he's less likely to topple over on the stand. And of course, the way this works here, you see how easily the head comes on and off. There's a light right there. You see it? And you turn this and you pull the whole plug out. And the batteries go in here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put the batteries in and get back to this, and we'll see how well that works. Alright, batteries are in the plug. Batteries are very tiny, as you could tell. So it's not always the easiest to get it in there, but there's a little switch on the bottom, which means you have to completely remove the neck joint every time you want to light this up. And you turn the switch and there it goes. And so if I take one of his heads and plug his head in, turn the light on, and you see his eye has lit up there. And that's basically the effect you're looking for. And it basically does what it's supposed to do. Nothing too spectacular. So let's go ahead and bring Cable down to the museum and put him in a pose and see how he looks. Let's go, Cable. Now we are down in the museum and we've got our Cable in his new home in the MEZCO 112 section. This is all my MEZCO 112s that I've managed to collect over the years. I know Iron Man is a little displaced here, but down here we have Cable. You see his eye is still lit up. Figured he would be appropriately placed right next to Dad. I like the way he looks. His costuming makes me want to get the other Scott Summers so that he can be in a matching costume. The 90s look for the X-Men. I like the way he looks. I like the flexibility, the fluidity of his movement and posing, if you will. It's improved quite a bit from back when figures like this were made. He's very stiff, he can barely move. I like that his weapon can be holstered. I don't care for this gun too much. I'll just leave it down here. That's fine. But Cable always had exaggerated firearms. Just really big, silly weapons. So, I get it. What do you think of Cable? You like this one or the other one? I don't have the other one to make a comparison. I've got this one, and this is good enough. Been a long, hard road to build up this collection. Let me know what your thoughts are about Cable. Is this a figure that you have? Is this a figure you would like to have? Tell me about it in the comments section down below. Hope you enjoyed the unboxing. Maybe you're on the fence about Cable and this helped you make a decision, good or bad. Let me know in the comments section. Please do give the video a thumbs up, share it if you can, subscribe if you're new, check out some of the other content. I do a lot of unboxings. I do showcases of vintage toys and action figures, statue unboxings, toy discussions, comic book discussions, and so on. You might find something interesting. Find us on Instagram, Open by Chance on Instagram. And what more can I say but thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.